What a difference a week can make. Last Monday, we were celebrating Manchester United winning the Carabao Cup. This Monday, we're talking about United losing 7-0 to Liverpool at Anfield. A humiliating defeat. And Erik Ten Hag now faces another tough week as United manager. We've overcome hurdles before and speed bumps. How does he react to this? How do you think he should react? You let me know in the comments. I'm going to run through this video. Please give me 10 minutes of your time because I think it's a really important one. The wins, it's easy to love it when it's easy to be a United fan when you're winning, right? Be a fan of any sport when your team's winning. When you're losing, that's when it's difficult. That's when it's more important. And that's what I'm going to run through in this video. As I said, look, Erik Ten Hag has had so much adversity in his first season in charge. The Brighton and Brentford games to kick off the campaign, I mean, the worst possible start. We saw how he responded there. The 13.8 kilometre infamous run, dropping Shaw, Maguire, Ronaldo, and the reaction that happened after that. To the Ronaldo situation in itself and how Ten Hag coped with that as a manager. To taking us back to winning. All of that, all taken into account, and we won the League Cup. And the momentum flowing through this club was just incredible. To that drop-off there at Anfield against Liverpool, I called it a capitulation. I don't know how you want to describe it, but it was unexpected. There were certain signs that you could have connected the dots if you wanted to, and I will run through those in this video. But it was just seismic. And I think Gary Neville pretty much summed it up perfectly in some of his post-match comments here with Jamie Carragher.
This ground can do things to you that others can't. It can honestly harm you. It can swallow you up. We've seen great European teams come here and lose 3 and 4 goals. We've seen I've seen City come here a few years ago, just fall apart. I think Edison made a mistake, and they all of a sudden just collapsed. That's the Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. This happens to the best of teams. This ground can eat you up. So this is not unusual to see Manchester United get beat here. Even 3-4-0, that's happened in the last few seasons. But 7, and the way in which those players who've built up so much trust and credit in the last few weeks to fall apart in the way in which they did was really worrying.
I think that's definitely my main takeaway from it. And I mentioned in the live stream, I mentioned it in my match reaction, how those players capitulated in that second half. It's obvious there's a problem there. And that's down to Erik Ten Hag to do a little bit of root cause analysis, boring as it may sound. Find out from these players what happened there, guys. What happened to that team that went to the Nou Camp in front of 90,000 fans and took it to the probably Europe's most informed team. That team that won the cup final. To do that? He needs to find out exactly what went wrong. And I tell you what, as Gary says here, I absolutely trust him to do that.
Really winning, but I've got faith in Erik Ten Hag. Early on in the season, after that 4-0, the Ronaldo saga, the Maguire saga, the issue with Rashford, the Sancho, all these things that have happened to him, he's recovered very quickly and sort of, if you like, decisively. And he'll not take that.
He absolutely won't take that. And as I said, Gary says it there, and I feel really, really strongly about this one. I think there are things you can question from Ten Hag in that game against Liverpool. Decision to start Delo, playing Bruno out on the left wing, Weghorst in the number 10. Tactically, I thought there were errors that he made in that game. But this United team, I'll tell you what, Ten Hag won't be saying it, and trust me, this is not an excuse, but this is context, this is circumstance. It definitely is playing a part of all of this, is how much football United are playing. Games every 3 days. Look at this. Manchester United collectively, as a team, we ran 99.01 kilometres against Liverpool, which is the lowest since that game against Brentford. And if you saw that away end, don't blame any of them, by the way. This isn't a slight at United fans. Best away support in the country. 4-0 down there, 20 minutes to go. And the away end's half empty. It was a half... everybody sort of threw the towel in. after 60, 70 minutes, fans and players combined. And then we collapsed in those last 15 minutes. It was a collective just waving the white flag. And Erik ten Hag as a manager has to be able to assess and analyse and find out what happened there. Because he spoke about it after the game. He said, look, you can lose a game, but not in that way in the second half. It was unprofessional. It was exactly what it was. He was surprised. I was surprised as well. Everybody was surprised. But Ten Hag has dealt with everything that happened after Brighton and Brentford. And what happened? Became a better team off the back of it. He dealt with everything that happened with the Ronaldo situation. He got himself sacked. What happens? We're a better team as a consequence of it. That's what surprised me so much about that result against Liverpool. You could say, as I said, that there are certain things that have been coming. The fact that we ran the second lowest behind that game against Brentford, these players are exhausted. It is playing a role. Now, Ten Hag will not be using that as an excuse, but we can speak about it as fans. I don't think that Roy Keane needs to... Roy Keane is Roy Keane, mate. He is what he is. I don't think this helps Manchester United. He sounds more like Graham Souness in trying to twist the knife in saying that. But Roy Keane was a man who set such incredible standards at Manchester United as captain that I suppose he's entitled to say that. And he can justify his comments because he knows that he would never have, ever put in that sort of level of performance as a Manchester United captain. And Ten Hag now needs to use this week to assess how we move on from it, to assess what went wrong with Bruno, because his head was completely gone. And you can't do that as captain of Manchester United. What happened to you, Luke Shaw? You've been so good this season after coming back into the team. Arguably, the best you played in a United shirt. You were even good in the first half. Second half, woof, glassy-eyed. Yes, Ten Hag made a mistake, in my opinion, in starting Diogo Dalot over Wan-Bissaka. Yes, I think Ten Hag made a mistake in starting Weghorst and pushing Bruno out to the left wing to accommodate for Weghorst. Tactically, I thought he made some errors in that game. But as Gary said, Gary Neville, as Andy Mitten writes here, this is Ten Hag's first season. We do have to let him build. There have been speed bumps and we've overcome every single one of them. Now, I would say a 7-0 at Anfield is more than a speed bump. It's a stain now on the history of this rivalry. Liverpool fans have got... United fans can't say anything to Liverpool fans at this point. But what the most important thing is from this point is how United react to it. How do we move forward this week? And this is where I think we can take a few wise words from the man himself on reacting to defeat.
What about reacting to the experience of defeat? Why is that such an essential part of what makes a winner?
Defeat happens. I can accept defeat, no bother. No problem for me. Maybe when I was very young, I found it difficult. But you have to have the dignity to eventually be able to accept defeat and be a good loser. But it doesn't mean say you don't forget it. My purpose after that was to make sure it never happened again. I just hated losing that way. I would tell my players at the end of the game, in no uncertain terms, and would always try to find the reason why we lost that game. But the next match was another world, and I made sure I was going to win that next match. And that purpose and determination is something that's in you. It's either there or not there.
What about reaction?
Now, you could argue that this is the second many years. We conceded 6 away at City, and now we conceded 7 away at Liverpool. So we haven't reacted. The same things happened. And that is down to Erik ten Hag. I think what we've seen here is clearly at this point, from where we were last season to where we were this season, there's so much progress, but there is so much that still needs to be done. And I do think it's fair to say that there has been a pattern in these games where it is slightly more hostile. It is tougher. City away. Liverpool away. Brentford away shouldn't be a massively hostile environment for United. But then you look at the game at the Nou Camp and you say, well, look, we've dealt with it. We can do it. So what is different? What has happened here? I can't personally put my finger on it. I know that there's a mental fragility and weakness there in these hostile environments, but we've proven it at the new camp. So what was different about Anfield? What was different about City? How does Ten Hag move forward with these players? This game against Real Betis now on Thursday is huge. Previously, with these setbacks, they've been setbacks. They haven't derailed our season. We're trophy winners already this season. We're inside the top 4. We're 7 points ahead of Liverpool. Still, our season's going fine. But this is a big moment for Ten Hag with these players, with these cup winners. What happened there? How can we make sure it doesn't happen again? Because it happened at City and now it's happened here. There's clearly something there. Ten Hag has to find out what that is and move on with these players. But if you think I'm going to question Ten Hag off the back of a humiliating defeat there against Liverpool at Anfield, no, I'm not. Am I going to question some of the decisions he made? Yes, I will, fairly. But we've made so much progress this season. I don't think this will derail our campaign. I think at the end of the season, we're going to look back at it and go, that was a successful season. But crap, there were some bad memories in that season. Let's move forward. I want to know where you stand on this. I agree with Gary Neville. I agree with Andy Mitten. And what Andy said there, let him build. But these players have got to come with him. How he reacts, let's find out. You can let me know what you think in the comments below.